Hey there, I'm Jordan. My trail name is Slice. I will tell a story about that in a little bit. I want to give a little background about myself, why I'm doing the Appalachian Trail, why I'm doing it the way that I'm doing it, which is a flip-flop, little information on that, and then also why I am kind of turning this hike into a fundraiser for research that's near and dear to my heart. It has become very important to me. Slice is my trail name. I got that last year. I was on a backpacking trip with my dad and had a brand new knife, had it strapped to my backpack, went to go grab it because my dad asked a question about it. I was like, yeah, let me show you. Went to go pull it out. It was kind of facing the wrong way, so I went to grab it with my left hand. Didn't move this hand, took it out straight into my thumb on this hand, blood gushing everywhere. So my dad started calling me Slice. Came across some AT Thru-Hikers last year and they liked the name, liked the story, so it kind of stuck. Background on me, I graduated from Georgia Tech in December 2020. Plans were to hike the Appalachian Trail last year. Kind of got derailed with some health issues, which I'll get into. Some reasons why I am wanting to hike the Appalachian Trail as a through hike is, also forgive all of the flies and the gnats. I'm currently on the trail, which is beautiful and wonderful, but it has its downsides. I first got the idea of doing the through hike from my mom, who wants to hike the Appalachian Trail, but in sections. And she had mentioned, oh, like some people do it all the way through as a through hike. I was like, geez, that's crazy. And kind of started looking into it. I love hiking, I love camping, I love being outside, but I'd never done backpacking before. But I started looking into it and fell down the rabbit hole of YouTube, watching YouTube videos, researching about it, looking at blogs, different things, gear, and kind of fell in love with the idea. I was like, you know what, I guess I'm crazy because this sounds awesome. I was really drawn to the challenge of it, both physical and mostly mental. I thought that was very intriguing. I love being outside, so the aspect of having that challenge while in the wilderness is really exciting and kind of a different, very different pace from your everyday life. And so this is kind of the perfect time for me in between school and a full-time job. I'm not settled down anywhere necessarily, so it really is a good time for me. I am doing it solo. The aspect I love about that is just becoming more confident and independent in myself. I do think of myself as an independent person, but doing this whole adventure solo, I don't know, it just like forces you to grow in your confidence and making your own decisions and being confident in that. So that's kind of the background of why I want to do it, mainly the challenge of it, being outside and just becoming more confident in myself doing it solo. So I really don't have a timeline. I'm taking every moment of this entire journey to enjoy it, appreciate it. While I'm in a town and I really want to stay for another day because it's a really cute little town, I'm going to do it. If there's a side trail that I want to do, I'm going to do it. I'm going to be appreciating and taking in every bit of this, the good, the bad, the ugly, the painful, all of it. A little about why I'm doing it the way that I'm doing it. I am hiking the trail as a flip-flop. Typical through hikers you'll hear, it goes either northbound or southbound. That is starting at northbound would be Springer Mountain to Katahdin in Maine, or southbound Katahdin to Springer Mountain in Georgia. Flip-flop hiking is kind of starting at somewhere in the middle, hiking one direction and then doing the other section. So I started, this is past tense now, which is crazy to think, started at Harpers Ferry, West Virginia, hiking northbound to Katahdin in Maine, and then I will shuttle back to the halfway point and hike southbound. I was researching and planning my hike. I was planning to do a northbound hike, which is your classic AT hike, I guess. Planning to start at Springer Mountain, hiking northbound to Maine, and came across somebody who was flip-flopping. I was like, oh, that's kind of a weird idea, but like, what about your grand finish in Maine on Mount Katahdin? And the more I looked into it, the more I was kind of convinced by the idea of it. They're trying to convince people to do like these alternative route hikes such as flip-flopping anyway, because the trail is just super crowded in Georgia and like the South in the spring. It's like 50 or 60 people starting a day, which is awesome for like so much community that you form, but it's really hard on the trail, hard on the surrounding communities. That was the main motivation, was to avoid the massive, they call it the bubble, of people starting at Springer Mountain. And the more I looked into it, the more I fell in love with that idea. I'm out here to enjoy being in nature. I want to do what I can to help conserve that and preserve that going forward for future generations and stuff. And also I'm kind of happy with not being in such a massive crowd of people, like having a little bit more solitude. I'm here at a campsite by myself, which is actually super nice. But I am getting my nice mix of people in alone time. Overall, with the flip-flop, you do get milder weather overall, which is pretty nice, less extremes. I'm loving that I will finish in the south in the fall. I'll have the beautiful fall colors going through like the Smokies. I'm from Atlanta, so I will actually end up finishing at Springer Mountain, which is like pretty close to home, which is kind of cool, finishing in my home state. I guess when people talk about through hiking, it's not just straight through northbound, or it's not just straight through southbound. Like, there are lots of options if you're doing all the miles. Doesn't really matter where you start. So I love the idea of trying to do what I can to help the trail last, and the surrounding communities, so it's not a bunch of stinky through hikers taking over the laundromats and diners and grocery stores and gas stations and such. So the other thing that I wanted to talk about is that how I want to set up my through hike as a fundraiser. So as I kind of hinted at early on, I was planning on doing the Appalachian Trail last year in 2021 and ended up facing some health issues right before I was supposed to start. I am a huge advocate now for annual physicals. I was preparing to do the trail last year, starting in May with my flip-flop, and in the beginning of April, I went to an annual physical and they did blood work, and they're like, hey, your platelet count is low. I was referred to a hematologist. They didn't know what was going on, had a bunch of tests and scans and all kinds of stuff set up that they were rushing me through because they knew I was about to be setting off into the woods. They were testing for leukemia, lymphoma, other cancers, did some DNA tests, all this kind of stuff. All that came back negative, thankfully. I know not everyone gets that same news. Turned out it was ITP, immune thrombocytopenia, which basically means my immune system decided to start attacking all of my platelets. They don't know why. It's an unknown reason. When you're bleeding, the platelets come in and stop everything, fix it up, so you stop bleeding. Being low on platelets and being about to go into the wilderness for 6 months by myself, where I'm highly likely to bleed at some point, was just not a good idea. And at the time, they didn't know what it was, so we decided that it was not safe for me to be on trail until we figured out what it was and got my platelet count back up. So I had to cancel my whole trip exactly 1 week before starting last year, which was absolutely devastating. Been playing that for a year at that point. Went through treatment, and since then have been holding on to a normal range of platelets, which is very exciting and I'm very thankful for. There's really a lot that they don't know with ITP in terms of diagnosis, having something that's like, yes, this test, you tested positive, you have ITP. For treatment, that's still kind of a moving target. Lots of things geared at suppressing your immune system to try to stop it from attacking all your platelets, to get it to reset, knowing the reason why, like what caused you to actually develop ITP. That's still a lot of unknowns. Through all this, I came across PDSA, the Platelet Disorder Support Association, and they were very helpful in just providing information on ITP, sharing other stories about it. I felt pretty isolated when I first found out about it. I was like, I've never heard of this before. It's like pretty rare. Thankfully, in sharing my story, I had several people reach out to me and talk to me about it, with their stories with it and stuff, which was awesome. And so I'm hoping that this can kind of help other people out there where this is all leading to. I would like to fundraise for ITP research through the PDSA organization. I've worked with them to set up a website for donating. I have a little bio about me, all that kind of stuff. And I'd like to set it up that, I'm committing to do 2,200 miles of the Appalachian Trail. And if people want to commit donating, X amount of cents, dollars, whatever, per mile, that I'm committing to do to fund ITP research, ITP awareness. That's kind of my big thing with this now. I will leave that link to the website in the bio of this video and probably also in the little about page. So going forward, I do have to do monthly blood checks on the Appalachian Trail while I'm out here, just to make sure my platelets are staying normal. But all things considered, I am so grateful to be out here. I can deal with monthly blood checks. Things are normal for now. We're in a good spot. I am beyond appreciative of where I'm at in life to be able to do this. For those around me, my friends and family who have got me to this point, who are supportive of me doing this in the first place, who got me through the nightmare that was last year with all of the health issues. Thankful to be living my life, doing what I want to be doing out here. I love you all my friends and family. Thank you so much. For anyone that's finding this channel or wants to follow along, welcome. I hope you enjoy some of the daily highs and lows that I'll be sharing on here, or not daily, every once in a while, like once a week, maybe eventually once every other week, but nothing fancy. Don't expect too much, just some highs, lows, some struggles, what life looks out here for me for the next, 5, 6, 7 months, however long it's taken me. That's me. If you want to stick around and see what goes on the Appalachian Trail, stay tuned, like, comment, and subscribe, which I never thought I would say in my entire life, but stay tuned.